Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about positive and negative reinforcement in a little more detail. Remember that the key to understanding reinforcement is a consequence that always strengthens a behavior that it follows. So if I do something and it turns out great, I'm going to do it again. Consequences that are pleasant, that strengthen behavior, are called reinforcement. Consequences that are unpleasant, that are designed to weaken behavior, are punishment. But right now we're talking about reinforcement, positive and negative. In psychology, as I mentioned in my video in the very first unit, unit 3 of this course, positive and negative always mean either addition or subtraction or direction. With learning this particular unit, it means addition and subtraction. Positive isn't good, negative isn't bad, and make sure you don't think about it that way because that'll confuse you. Positive means a pleasant consequence that is added to me. Negative means an unpleasant consequence that is taken away. So, in other words, something that happens to me can be pleasant, either because something nice is added into my life or something I don't like is taken away from my life. Somebody compliments me on something I did and tells me how much they appreciate it. That's adding something pleasant to me. When I was younger, if I did my chore or I did something I was supposed to do, maybe I got a little reward for it. That's adding something pleasant to me. Taking away something unpleasant is negative reinforcement because it results in something pleasant. I have a stomach ache, so I take a certain medicine. It takes my stomach ache away. Now I feel good. That's negative reinforcement because I feel good because the pain went away. If in the morning when you guys wake up with an alarm clock, any kind of an alarm, whether you use your phone or whatever, that's all based on negative reinforcement. You get up to turn off the noise. When you get in your car and you start driving and you haven't buckled the seatbelt, you hear that beeping sound. You buckle the seatbelt so the nasty noise goes away. That's making things pleasant by taking away something unpleasant. Somebody gets arrested for drug possession and they're taken to the police precinct and the police officer asks them, "Where'd you get it?" And of course they say, "I don't know," because they don't want to incriminate anybody else. So then the police officer says, "Okay, we're going to charge you with possession with intent to distribute. That's a felony. That's jail time." However, if you talk and tell us where you got it, we'll charge you with misdemeanor possession. That's probation. So a lot of people will talk. They get rid of the unpleasant consequence, the unpleasant part of jail, and that's negative reinforcement. Okay? So positive adding, negative subtracting. The whole idea is, how does it become pleasant? By adding something, by taking away something. But reinforcement is always pleasant and it always strengthens behavior. Let's go over a couple other examples. Giving somebody a compliment, social reinforcement. That's always positive reinforcement. Getting paid, any kind of a paycheck is reinforcement. Or getting some other material good for something you did. That's always positive reinforcement. Getting on the dean's list, graduating with honors, getting an academic award. Those are all positive reinforcement. When animals are trained and they get treats, I have 2 dogs and I use treats to train them all the time. That's positive reinforcement. Why am I doing it? So the dogs learn to do certain things. Negative reinforcement. I mentioned a couple. Talking to the police so you won't go to jail. That's negative reinforcement. Getting up on an alarm clock, the alarm in your car. You're at a party with a friend and there's somebody talking to you that you really don't like and they just talk and talk and talk. And so you kind of get your friend's attention, like, save me from this person. So they come over and said, oh, excuse me, we got to go over here and talk to some other people. That's negative reinforcement. They made your life pleasant by getting rid of something unpleasant. Taking a pill to eliminate pain or eliminate anxiety or eliminate depression. That's all negative reinforcement. Anything you could do to reduce anxiety. You have to study for a test and you've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. So you start studying, and the more you study, the less anxious you become. That's negative reinforcement. It's getting rid of that bad feeling of anxiety. If you're afraid of something, if you're kind of phobic of something, if you avoid that situation, you feel a sense of relief. That sense of relief is negative reinforcement because it's taking away the chance of you being in an unpleasant situation. So, the positive and negative part is just method. How does the situation become pleasant? Positive, add. Negative, subtract. This is a chapter that is really, really geared toward those worksheets. And there are plenty of examples in the worksheets you guys can do. But again, if you have any questions, text me or post them in the Unit 6 discussion board. Okay? Thanks.